Hey everyone, I'm back from Toronto and it's time to start making videos again. If you want to know how I did at the show, go check out getfitover40.com. Since this is all about air guns and we're going to be talking about the Umarex Glock 19X CO2 Blowback BB pistol, and this is the tabletop review, so no shooting. I haven't actually shot this gun. That said, this is essentially a reskinned version of the Glock 17 Gen 3, which is a sort of semi-blowback BB pistol, and I have reviewed that gun. I'll be comparing it a little bit here. I'll also show you some of the other Glocks that Umarex has been releasing lately, since they've got a whole bunch now in BB and airsoft, but I'll show you the BB ones in comparison. So let's get started. Now this pistol is available in our Canada and US replica airgun stores over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. And it is a licensed replica of the Glock 19X 9mm pistol. Now let's get right into some of the specifications. It's made in Taiwan. It does come in the clamshell case with the manual, so you get this beautiful clamshell case, right? So yeah, I know they're not that nice. I wish they came in boxes, but you'll see here you have your FPS 360 12 gram CO2 steel BB, blowback action, 18 rounds, right? What do we got here? Full-size magazine. Some other stuff there I can barely read. Okay, so your typical packaging, not very fancy at all. You pretty much have to destroy it to get into it, and then it's done. I might as well show you this real quick. You do get your Glock 19X manual. That way I don't have to show you later. Okay, basic instructions, how to load the magazine, what the working parts do, right? How to put CO2 in, use that Allen key, work the safety, right? How to load the magazine, all those great things. And this is the tool for the CO2. It does have this little weird bit on the other side. I'm not even sure. It's like it's for a hop-up adjustment or something, or maybe some sort of sight adjustment. But I don't believe it really works for anything on this gun. I just think it's a universal tool that they include with it. All right, let's get on with more of the specifications. This is a 4.5mm steel BB pistol. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. It does have blowback action, although it's that sort of 3/4 blowback action. It weighs in at 1.5 pounds or 662 grams. It has an 18-shot full-size dropout metal magazine. It does have a smoothbore barrel that's 3.36 inches in length or 85.3 millimeters. It has a double action only trigger, since it indexes a BB into the breech area with each pull of the trigger. The claimed FPS is 360. You're going to get a metal slide with a polymer frame. It also has fixed front and back white dot sights. And again, it's licensed through Umarex. Okay, let's compare it to some of the other ones, then we'll get in a little tighter. Right out of the box, I mean, really, it is essentially a reskin version of the Glock 17. So you got this coyote color instead of the black. That's what Glock calls it, coyote. And it's shorter in length, but it has a very similar frame, just shorter frame and a shorter slide on it. So other than that, it really is the same gun. I mean, you can even mix and match the magazines if you want to. They fit in each gun. I don't really have any CO2 in here to speak of. Yeah, not even enough to really work the slide. But yeah, so they work in each other's guns. I mean, I'm sure you could probably even maybe put this larger slide on there, but they're not really field strippable easily. I think you have to take a pin out, so you can't just pull the takedown little buttons here on the sides, these little slides. You can't pull those down to do a field strip like you can with the Glock 4th generation. But still, really cool that they're blowback action, full-size metal magazines, all of that. So very similar gun. Of course, we have the Glock 19. Now this is a standard non-blowback BB pistol, one of the first ones Glock introduced about a year and a bit ago. And it's a nice gun. It shoots well, double action trigger since it is non-blowback. Has good weight and feel, metal slide, polymer frame, but a very basic gun, stick magazine, a little more simple, a little cheaper, probably a little less things to go wrong, more CO2 efficiency, probably, you're going to get faster shots, faster FPS with this one because it is non-blowback. And then of course we have our Glock 17 Gen 4, and this is a full blowback gun, so you can see the slide goes all the way back, right? And it's blowback action, full blowback, full-size metal magazine, very similar to an airsoft pistol. the way it's built and the way it shoots and the way it's designed. It even has like a little bit of a hop-up feature inside as well. All right, so that's the Glock now 17 Gen 4. Probably my favorite Glock just because it's ultra realistic. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we have reviews for all of those guns. I'll put links in the description so you can check them out. Let's get right into taking a closer look at this 19X. Okay, let's get up in here. All right, so here we have all the logoing and all the markings on it right in the slide. It's right in there, right? It's not just etched in or painted on, right? These levers don't function. You probably have to take a pin out if you are going to field strip it. This is a working safety built into the serial number area here, so you can just, once you, if that red dot's showing, it's basically live, ready to go. You have the caliber there, you have some of the writing there, warning instructions, which are kind of out of the way. They're not on the side. I like that. You do have a working slide catch release that will lock back when the last shot is taken. You do have a magazine release that works, right? And this is your magazine. Now, every time you pull the trigger, this basically pushes a BB into the breech, which does create a little bit of friction. It's not too bad, but it seals off the CO2 and the barrel area so that you get a little higher FPS, a little bit better CO2 efficiency, but it does make it a double action only trigger since that's got to be pushed forward every time. Okay, so a little heavier than a standard Glock trigger and a little longer. Now you do have all this nice Glock branding, licensing. The color's great. The gun looks fantastic. White dot sights on the back, right? You can see here. You can see right through into the mag well, but not the same way you would with a full blowback. Right, you have your white dot on the front. You have your recessed barrel. The actual spring isn't too bad. Some of these are really weak. This has got a decent spring on it. And it's not as clanky. Listen, for whatever reason, the 17 oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. The 17 Gen 3, that's the wrong one too. Here we go, too many Glocks on my table. Listen to this. Versus this. A little less clanky, so that's kind of nice. One of my kind of quirks with this guy is the slide was a little clanky sounding when you compare it to, right? That's nice. Okay, so let's take a look at the other side. All right, some more Glock licensing and stuff. Serial numbers. I like the way that the extractor there is two-tone. It's like a separate piece. It's not just molded into the slide like a lot of them. You know, really nice looking gun. I mean, it looks identical to the real steel version. It really does. Unless you were to look down the barrel there and see that it's got the smaller inner barrel and stuff. Or if you pull the magazine out, it's going to look a little different, obviously. But, you know, if you're holding in your hand and stuff, it really does look the part. Really nice looking gun. I like the two-tone black on that coyote sort of tan. Of course, you also have, you know, you have a rail here for accessories. Okay, the trigger is a little longer, but it's not bad. And it doesn't appear to have a working trigger safety, okay? So that isn't a working trigger safety, it's just for looks, just so you know. Now again, I haven't shot this gun, but I have shot the Glock 17, I got the wrong one, the Glock 17 Gen 3. They should be very, very similar, but the barrel is a little bit shorter on the 19X. So probably going to be just slightly lower FPS, but other than that, they should perform and shoot very similarly. All right, let's get into some of the pros and the cons. This gun has really nice weight and feel to it. The build quality seems really good. I mean, it just looks fantastic. And I like that it's pretty much an identical one-to-one copy or replica of the real steel Glock 19X. And that coyote color is, to me, is one of the nicer looking colors for the Glocks. Again, it's fully Glock licensed through Umarex. It has those easy to see white dot sights front and back with that recessed barrel for added realism. And of course, I didn't say it, but the magazine cover covers the actual CO2 screw or Allen key. I didn't pop that off to show you, but you can remove that butt plate to get at the CO2 screw to put your CO2 in, and it's all covered up and hidden. Also has an accessory rail for adding a laser or tactical light. Another thing we like to see on all of these guns is a full-size dropout metal magazine that holds both the CO2 and the BBs, and it does that. It has a maximum capacity of 18 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. I also like that the safety is built into that serial number plate. which keeps it well hidden. In most cases, you're just gonna keep the safety off so it's ready to go. I also like that the warning instructions are nice and discreet under the trigger guard, not in plain sight on the side of the slide or on the frame. And even though it's a double action trigger, it doesn't feel too bad. It's not super heavy or super long. And because it has that semi or 3/4 blowback action, you will get higher FPS than a full blowback and more shots per CO2. All right, a couple cons. The blowback action is not full blowback, which means you're gonna have a little bit less slide recoil. Doesn't quite feel the same as a full blowback gun, but you do get some of that recoil action, which is nice. And that slide does have a bit of a clanky sound, but not as bad as the Glock 17 3rd generation, so that's a bit of an improvement. The sights are non-adjustable, which is pretty much expected with these low-cost action shooters. And again, as with all of these Glocks, the whole lineup, I would have liked to have seen more pristine packaging from Glock over this plastic clamshell that they ship in. All right, again, this gun is available in both our Canada and US Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.us. I will be following up this tabletop video with a shooting video, so stay posted for that. My field test shooting video in the C-can here. If you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, pellet guns, accessories, then again, check out both our Canada and US online stores for those products. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.